from Studio 13 in California, you're listening to Wild Card with your hosts, John.
No ethical qualms about cloning the people. But that's playing God. Fuck you. Don't ever take aspirin. Don't ever take Advil. That's all playing God. Shut your pie hole.
And Connor.
They jack-o'-lantern your head, remove the brain, and then they jam it into the clone baby. You'd still have the baby dick, so that would carry over.
A show that aims to be only slightly better than your gym music.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Wild Card. Have you ever wanted to live forever? Have you ever wanted a blood boy? Do you even know what a blood boy is? Well, you're in luck, because in this episode, Connor and I solve immortality. I don't want to go into details, but it involves a body farm outside of Reno, an attractive man from Argentina, and a number of babies with Connor's head sewn on. Trust us, this is totally going to work. Then it's time to talk about the entitled generation and the cycle that is a stereotypical millennial social media meltdown. So get some kale for your blood boy and hit your friends up for some cash, because everyone should live like a Kardashian, right? For this episode of Wild Card. We are guestless today. You know what that means. No guest. No one likes us.
Means we have no guest.
It basically means that I'm going to find stuff that the younger generation does that makes me entirely grumpy and rant and rave and yell about it for a while. And then I'll get all hot and bothered, and Connor will agree with the younger generation and say that it's all going to be okay. And I will still be angry. I actually got something I want to talk to you about. If you ever watched the 60 Minutes, you catch the rebroadcast of the cloning stuff.
The horse
with the
one.
Horse? Yes.
I did. Yes.
That is awesome.
It's scary.
I feel like we are way further along. Like, you hear all this stuff about Facebooks and the new iPhones. You think that if someone was able to take the world's most athletic horse, for those people that haven't seen the 60 Minutes thing, it's this guy who, he's an Argentinian polo champion.
Yeah.
He happens to be ridiculously attractive, according to my wife. And I'm like, wow, your life sucks. You're super wealthy. You have an Argentinian kind of swarthy accent. You look like a movie star, and you're a billionaire.
And you have a fleet of cloned horses that are all the best horse in the world. And did you notice that all the other players they interviewed were all super attractive too?
Are you going to become a polo fan?
I'm thinking about going to some matches, yeah.
But what he did, and it's so cool, is he had this horse, he had played polo his whole life, and this was the best horse that he had ever had.
It was apparently the best horse in the history of polo.
And so this guy, being ridiculously wealthy, as you are when you're a handsome polo champion,
right, decided
to spend massive amounts of money. Yeah. They got to a point where they were successfully cloning this horse, and what they found, which is a little bit disturbing, the personality, the disposition, the agreeableness, the willingness to play polo and love it, and all these things, in addition to the athleticism, were like inherent in the horse.
Oh my God.
And so he just kept replicating this horse, and now he'll like stud it out. I think he'll even sell replica babies of the horse.
So they talked about that. They don't sell any of the clones because they feel like then you're giving away the secret sauce, right?
Right point.
You don't give
any DNA them.
They will breed the clones. So it's half clone, half whatever horse they breed it with. But you can't buy the original.
So then I'm sitting there going, this is awesome. We need to know more about this.
Is it awesome? I feel like if this was the plot of a science fiction movie, I would think, wow, man, that's kind of crazy that could actually happen. And it's going on right now. Like, there's a team of horses that are all identical clones. And horses are a complicated animal.
It seems like that shouldn't be happening now. Like we've talked about how, like, where the fuck are our flying cars?
They're here, apparently.
From the
horses.
30s, we've been promised flying cars and George Jetson breakfasts, where a thing slides up and a giant tray of hot eggs and pancakes and everything comes out.
So instead of flying cars, they were like, how about we just get you a real nice team of horses?
Yes.
That are all the same.
It's like 1730 called. They're really excited about your fleet of amazing horses. But no, this fleet of amazing horses, it kind of got me excited, because I am someone who, not to bring the show to a screeching halt, I don't want to die. But I don't want to die a lot more than other people. Like, I'm miserable, but I love being alive, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
But go on.
I always think tomorrow's going to be awesome.
Okay.
Today sucks.
Right.
Mostly because of everything I complain about on the show.
Right.
I keep thinking tomorrow's going to be amazing.
One of these days.
One day I look forward to sitting on a porch where I have my lands.
Yeah.
And I'm in a rocking chair.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grizzled, like
Pretty grizzled
somehow
now.
I've gotten more handsome, like
Yeah.
with age,
Okay.
kind of a Paul Newman,
Sure.
Robert Redford kind of grizzled, like sun. I'm aging well,
Okay.
and I'm rocking, and I'm whittling something. I don't know how to whittle.
Okay.
But I'm whittling
pretty
something,
straightforward.
and every time someone comes up to me, I go, "Robble, robble, robble, robble," until they leave.
Right.
And then I start drinking about noon.
Basically sounds like our show.
Yes, slightly less coherent, but that's my dream. And the great thing is that's achievable.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people on porches in the South that do this now. I want to be able to live that dream over and over and over again.
Okay.
And so I want to clone the peoples.
You want to clone yourself?
Yes, and so I'm looking this up. It says scientists successfully clone monkeys. Are humans up next? So the Chinese, because they're pretty much better at everything than us these days, say the barrier to cloning primate species is now overcome. Mumming Pu of the Chinese Academy of Sciences in Shanghai basically says, oh yeah, we can do humans. 100% we can do humans. Cloning of humans, although it has not been done, is absolutely theoretically possible. This is going to be a big breakthrough for medicine. Because he said the current goal of our project is to create lots of genetically identical monkeys for the use in research where they would be particularly valuable because they're more like humans than other lab animals such as mice and rats. So this is brilliant because you know how drugs affect different people differently? Now they were able to test different levels of drugs on the same genetics. Anyway, so I found that really interesting.
Isolating the variable. I can't believe that we test shit on primates. That's just awful.
You have to.
No, you don't have to. I mean,
I want to look. I love animals, but at the end of the day, if it comes down to me or Coco, Coco's going down. Along those same lines, here's what I'm thinking. I need a new body, Connor. I need to harvest a new body, and if they can clone me, here's my thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want another me. I want to be me again. So if you clone me, I don't have me, all my experiences, all my traumatic, unfulfilled dreams,
yeah,
all my delicious memories of consuming 2-foot-long mayo sandwiches, those scarring years where I was called doughboy douchebag incessantly. I want those memories, Connor.
You want those?
I do.
Okay.
But I want all of it, and I've seen that they can transplant the faces onto new people. They can transplant the genitals.
It doesn't look that great.
All right, here's my thought, and you go with me. First of all, no ethical qualms about cloning the people. People are just like, but that's playing God. Fuck you. Don't ever take aspirin. Don't ever take Advil. That's all playing God. Shut your pie hole. I want a new body, and here's what you do. You know how they put people in comas after like an accident, a car accident? You clone me, and you coma the clone.
Well, the clone's going to be a baby.
You coma the baby.
Okay. For 38 years?
I didn't think about that part. Yeah, if you coma the baby, it's not going to learn language or anything. Damn it.
Here's what needs to happen.
No, I have language in me brain.
Right. That's where I'm going with this. So hold on, I got this. What you need is you right now. You go into a medically induced coma. Okay. They jack-o'-lantern your head. They remove the brain.
Yes.
And then they jam it into the clone baby. And then you are basically like Billy Madison for 30 years.
So I'd look like you. I'd have a giant head and a tiny body.
Exactly. and you would be a baby, but with all of your memories and stuff. You'd still have the baby dick, so that would carry over. And then, thank you. And then, by the time you're like your age now, your kids would be your age too. And your wife would be very, very old.
How large does a baby have to be to accept my neck?
I mean, babies' heads are pretty big. Like, my head as a baby would easily accommodate your relatively small brain.
But you're lollipop boy. I'm more normally proportioned.
You have a normally sized head, yes.
I like this idea. So I think we grow the bodies. We have like a body farm.
Right.
Somewhere in Nevada.
But no brains.
Near the Gigafactory.
Or they could have brains and you just like scoop them out with an ice cream scooper.
You're putting kale in the blood.
Gotta have kale.
Vegan.
Yeah.
Very healthy.
Let's get some probiotics.
Vegan. You've got yoni egg in one of the holes.
I don't even know what that... Oh, we talked about that.
A Gwyneth Paltrow facial scrub.
That's going to be $1,500.
You do all these things. We've got Thai massage. You keep it supple like a veal.
So wait, you want to foster your clone baby for how long? Like 15 years? Here's what I want. I would want to be installed back in my 18-year-old body. Now, I was flabby and had no muscle, but I could work on that.
True.
Yeah.
And by then, they probably have some sort of pill that will make you ripped.
Exactly.
See, I'm being told that they might be able to download us at some point, which is fine.
Yeah.
I would take that over nothing. And again, not to take a fun show into a completely depressing route, but
I'm kind of already depressed.
I want to see my kids get older. You know, I want to see their kids have kids. I was at my kid's soccer game the other day. I get so fired up, and it made me miss my youth. Nothing after you can drink beer at 21 and then maybe graduate college. Nothing. There are no milestones. It's like, fuck, throw us a bone.
Well, there's like marriage.
Yeah, there's going bald.
Yeah.
And then your first marriage and your first divorce. So you've got those.
Yeah.
It's like I'm sitting there and I'm watching these girls play and I'm getting so fired up. Like, I want to go back to team sports when people were cheering for me and I could, kick a goal past Fat Jimmy.
You're saying you want to have a life again.
Yes.
Yeah, you gave that up when you got married and had kids.
The kids, as we mentioned, turn you into a Crown Vic that's on his 10th year in NYC as a New York cabbie. You've got some guy from Nigeria who bathed sometime in the 80s. He's got the beads on the seat.
Well, let me ask you this. You know that question, is it better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all? You were a successful athlete in high school in 2 sports and in college, and now you're old nobody on your porch. I was always a nobody. So which is worse?
That's a good point. I think it's harder for me to have been amazing and awesome.
Yeah.
And then to be the shell of a human I am now.
Yeah.
Back to the cloning, though. I just know that there is some woke folk out there that will ruin this. I want my body farm. As I mentioned, I want it outside of Reno. I don't know why. It just seems like a good place for a body farm. I feel like they do that kind of stuff there. And I want me bodies, maybe a few of them, because I want to do a lot of motorcycle racing. And when I wreck one, I want that brain to be unplugged, put in a new body. This can happen. We could do this today. We just have to not give a shit about the feelings of the human beings that are in the body farm. And I'm willing to do that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You clone them without brains.
But we can't do that, and I'm old. I'm getting old.
Okay.
I can't wait for the no brain body.
There was a Schwarzenegger movie like this. They would clone people, and they would just like roll out of the assembly line like 5 minutes later, and they'd have this gel on them, and they'd be like blinking their eyes, but they were immediately an exact copy of the person with all the memories and everything.
Love it.
That's too much for me. I don't want to
Why?
be. Well, I don't want to be redundant. This new version's going to be better and just replace me.
I don't even need better. I'll take feeble.
Here's what I want. I want just like clone my face, okay, but a younger, better looking version.
Okay, that's just go see Kardashian's surgeon. They do that stuff. Haven't you seen how all the Kardashians had like different dads and looked completely different, and now they all look identical?
Yeah.
They have the same doctor.
They've all got duck lips and nose jobs. Yeah, it's kind of creepy. But I mean, that's expensive. I can't afford that kind of thing. I want the body farm.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
If you switch bodies, are you still married? Because when we enter into marriage, it's like till death do us part. But now,
The body is dead.
my point, I think open season. I think you're single again. I think you get to get on the Tinders.
No, I think you're right because your wife didn't marry John 2. She married John 1. And
John 1's gone.
John 1's brain has been scooped out, and he's now in a dumpster behind the body farm.
John 1 was a good man.
He was okay.
He was sexually inadequate.
Yeah, so's John 2.
His voice cracked like a 12-year-old boy.
Couldn't fix some things.
He loved carbs.
He did.
But we'll miss him. But John 2 is awesome. John 2 is more this.
Okay. Now, can you design improvements to your replica? Can you make tweaks?
I know what you would improve.
Oh, yes. Several things. You know, in Gattaca, they order kids, right?
I mean, we kind of did that with our own kids.
How so?
So we went through the IVFs. And the crazy thing with IVF is you end up with embryos, and you get to choose the embryos. And then what also happened is because of the age that we were when we were having kids and the limited embryos that you have, you can also do this thing where they genetically test the embryos. And we did it for 2 reasons. We say we did it to make sure they didn't have flippers, but in reality, we wanted a boy because we already had a girl. Which, by the way, is not called, you didn't choose the sex of your baby, you family planned. No, I take it back. Family balancing. Yes, that's the term.
Family balancing.
Yes, it's family balancing.
That sounds like when you kill off one of the kids to save money.
If you've got 2 girls, I'm just family balancing.
Family balancing.
That's what they do in the Middle East. When you walk outside alone as a woman without a man around, they
and
family
just
balance.
like that, John makes it super racist-y.
But no, you get to pick basically the sex of your baby. But through the genetic testing, they tell you, like, because you've got 23andMe. I've done 23andMe. In fact, it might be fun to read through those sometimes because it's hilarious how accurate it is. It's like
It's super accurate.
You typically wake up at 7 a.m. Yep, I do.
Yeah.
You are probably sneeze when you look directly at the sun.
Well, I think everybody does that.
You
but
are probably fantastic in bed. And I'm like, check.
I'll tell you the things that the things that got right for me was like your earlobes are attached. You're sensitive to caffeine, like all this crazy specific crap.
Yeah, no, I just got a huge one. In fact, we could even bring it up here in a moment. But you basically get that on your kid because the DNA is there in the embryo.
Yeah.
Because DNA doesn't change as you grow up. That's the whole friggin' point of DNA. And so you're able to look, okay, this kid's going to have blue eyes. It's gonna have... Now, we only had one boy, so we didn't have a lot of options, you know.
How many embryos did you have in the bank?
Shit, I don't remember. The weird thing, though, is...
Do you make an omelet with the ones that you don't use?
Okay, that's just... Spoken like a true psychopath.
I just wanted to see if there was something I could say that would leave you speechless. And I think I succeeded.
Do you have human feelings? Have you ever had one? Have you ever been like, I feel strange right now? Oh, that's a human feeling.
You know, sometimes you just want to see what the limits are.
I don't know if you have Asperger's or you're just an asshole. Like, what?
A couple of these, couple of those.
When you see a Sarah McLachlan commercial, when it's like, in the arms
well, those are animals, so that's
of an
different.
angel. Oh, because those aren't people, so you
Yeah.
have emotions for the
So
animals?
I immediately get on the phone and give Sarah $100.
What about Sally Struthers, the babies with the distended bellies that are starving and need the plumpy nut? Not so much? Yeah, you're a sociopath. Oh, wow. Yeah, anyway. So just to round that off, I am fully in favor of cloning me. I am willing to let my DNA be the guinea pig.
I mean, we're joking about this, but in that 60 Minutes episode or piece, they talked to the guy who cloned the horses. And he said this fascinating thing because it basically sounded like Lex Luthor had called him up. He said, all of the richest people in the world have called me and asked me to clone them.
Connor, what is the only thing that the wealthy cannot buy? Immortality.
Well, apparently now they can.
That would be awesome. But they're buying also this came out, the Young Blood. You ever watch Silicon Valley, the Blood Boy?
Yeah.
That's true. Did you know that's true?
Somebody in Silicon Valley was actually doing it because the stuff on that show is based on real people.
Yeah, no, it actually works. The big study just came out that in mice, they fed old, decrepit mice, not fed them, but transfused them with the blood of the young, and they became virile. And here's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We've got a body farm outside of Reno.
Yep.
We're cloning multiple. I'm getting some young kids' blood, preferably one without bloodborne illness.
Okay, it sounds kind of weird when you put it that way. This person is going to be a volunteer.
Can we just clone?
You're not going to just go around taking blood.
I got it.
Yeah.
We clone one of the lobotomized me, and we hook him up like one of the crabs.
Oh, he just becomes the blood bank.
He's Blood Boy.
Yeah.
I just have a closet with Blood Boy.
Yeah.
And I go in and I plug in. How you doing, Blood Boy? Good to see you. Fuck, you're a handsome man, Blood Boy.
He's not going to say much because he's got no brain.
Have you been taking your aspirin, Blood Boy?
He'll have good circulation.
Take care of that ticker. Blood Boy, always on an elliptical. Gotta keep the heart strong.
Can I get you a glass of red wine, Blood Boy?
Here's some blueberries. Can I interest you in a yoni egg?
Again with the yoni egg.
That would be awkward to be on the elliptical or possibly a stationary bike with the yoni egg.
Okay. You know what's funny is how many science fiction movies there are about this topic. So there was that Schwarzenegger one where they were cloning themselves and you would just pop out as an exact replica at the same age with all the same memories. Gattaca, they were designing babies. What is the one I'm forgetting? I mean, obviously the Blade Runner movies are kind of similar. Those are replicants. They're more like kind of robots, but not really.
Yeah.
Westworld, they're sort of doing it in the same kind of way where it's like engineered flesh. It's crazy to think that this stuff is starting to come true.
Yeah, and you wonder which one's going to win out, because you've got like robotics, like the whole like AI, like they're making humanistic robots. Like that Boston Dynamics video that makes me think we're all going to die. Like, what's going to win out? Is it going to be like cloned people or hyper-realistic robotic people and all this stuff? Like,
well, I mean, to me, it's pretty obvious. A bag of meat and bones is never going to be able to compete with a robotic AI. I mean, pretty much every Terminator movie has taught us that.
The singularity will come for us. Skynet will hunt us all down.
Judgment Day is inevitable.
Damn it.
But if you've got like 19 Johns, they've got to kill off 18 of you before you're even really at risk.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Not one blood boy, two.
You know what they did
and
wrong?
one of them's on a motherfucking stair climber.
What they did wrong is they only had one John Connor. They should have just been cloning that dude over and over and over again.
We've solved it. Blood Boys, Body Farm.
John Connor.
John Connor.
Yeah. We
are John Connor. I feel like this is done full circle and we're done with it.
That's a tieback. We should just wrap it up.
Episode's
over.
Moving on. Connor, what is my favorite thing that the millennials do?
Hashtags.
In the desert.
Oh, Burning Man.
They do the Burning Man.
Yes. It's actually kind of an older crowd.
Yes, but they're trying to recapture their youth because they don't have a blood boy.
Okay.
I feel like we've beaten Burning Man for all that we possibly can.
We did 2 full episodes about it.
2 full episodes. So this is funny because we live in an era of Me Too.
Okay.
These people went to Burning Man for the first time and they wrote an article, and I just thought this was so entertaining because one of the people that goes in this said one of their campmates complained that the orgy dome is lame. It's so boring because as you enter, you have to sit through an hour-long lecture on consent.
Is that right?
Yes. You enter the orgy dome and they sit you down and do like a PowerPoint presentation about consent. You're in a fucking orgy dome. Here's the consent, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't want to have people messing with your front hole and your front pipe and these things, don't go in the orgy dome. I'm pretty sure that once you enter the orgy dome, you're consenting to an orgy.
You know, you get so animated about these Burning Man topics. Deep down, actually not even that far down, shallow down, I think you want to go.
I don't.
I think you need to go.
It's like thou doth protesteth too much.
Here's what I suggest. Send, not John 2.0, because he's kind of your go-to. He's your quarterback. Send John 3 or 4 and have him report back. I think he'll like it.
I don't think John 3 is going to like sitting through the consent lecture at the orgy dome. It goes on. We had to wait in an incredibly long line before getting in to the lecture. And once you get in and through the lecture, it is the most organized, regimented sex you've ever seen in your life. It's like you've coupled off, you've signed your waivers. You have signed a waiver to fornicate with this creature here. Are you familiar with what consent apps are?
I did hear there's an app in Iceland where you can determine if you're related to the person that you're about to take home from the bar.
Is that a problem? I guess in Iceland.
Think about it.
It's so small.
Iceland's only 300,000 people, and they've been there for hundreds of years. They're basically all related.
Oh, that is gross as shit. Wow.
Yeah. So I imagine it's not even like, no, you're not related, because that would be impossible. It's like, far enough.
Is it like your kids will have no teeth and spina bifida?
Yeah.
And it's like that's the scale?
3 arms, 2.5 arms, maybe flipper hands. Okay, go for it.
Can we download the Icelandic Should I Bang My Sister app?
I mean, I just heard that it's a thing. I've never actually checked to see if it's real, but it makes perfect sense. The other thing that impressed me about Iceland is, do you know the bars there open at like 11 p.m.?
Don't they have the round-the-clock sunlight?
In the summer, yeah.
Which is obnoxious. Okay.
In the summer. I was there in the winter, though, and people would go out at midnight, and at like 7, 8 in the morning, you would see people stumbling home.
Well, they're pretty excited to bang their sister.
Or third cousin. Fourth removed.
What do the gay guys do? Because the straight people, you're fornicating every so often. But with the Grindr app, do they incorporate the "Are you related?" Like think before you grind?
Well, does it matter? You're not going to have a kid.
I'm not gay, but I would think I wouldn't want a gay with my own brother.
Well, you're going to know your brother But if it's like a ninth cousin,
That's true. And Hockrell, my ninth cousin, is super steamy.
he's been looking good at those family
He
reunions.
looks like a 19-year-old Macaulay Culkin, right in your wheelhouse. Okay.
I feel like this episode has just gone completely off the rails.
Do you remember a few weeks ago we had Dom Russo on
Yes.
from Comedy Central's Workaholics and Did You Reddit? He enlightened me to a wonderful place on Reddit called Don't Fund Me, because there was that couple that fliced the homeless guy out of all of his money.
Yeah.
So what I'm about to read you, I found a gem when I went to Don't Fund Me, Reddit / whatever they're doing these days.
Yeah.
Don't Fund Me. I found a gem.
You realize Reddit is basically just like a bunch of mean kids on the schoolyard making fun of people.
100%, but that's awesome.
I don't want to go there because it scares me. They're going to make fun of my flaws.
So this is bride cancels wedding, breaks up with fiance after friends and family refuse to pay $60,000 for her nuptials so she could have a wedding like Kim Kardashian. So what happened is this gal posts on Facebook this like rambling letter to all of her Facebook friends. And one of the bridesmaids, which you'll learn why, screenshot this and posted it on Facebook. And then people are like, this has to be a joke. Like all the early responses are like, yeah, nice try, internet, blah, blah, blah. And then like a bunch of people came out and said like, no, here are corroborating details. So this is legit. Allow me to read from her rambling Facebook missive that she posted. It comes with great sadness that I am announcing the cancellation of our wedding. I apologize for canceling only 4 days beforehand.
Oh, boy.
And then she goes on to ramble about how she broke up with her fiance. And it says, in 1 hour after posting this status, I am going to delete my Facebook. This is the nuclear bomb of millennials.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what you've driven me to? You have driven me to go taking a break from social media.
Yeah, well, just Facebook. She'll still be on Instagram and Snapchat.
It's like there's like a flow chart for millennial meltdowns.
Yes.
Experience life-shattering problem, aka not an actual problem at all. Have a panic attack / take a Xanax. Determine who is to blame for said problem. Hint, it's never them. And then post it on Soch, because there's no problem that 117 likes can't solve. And lastly, the only resolution to said problem is to get another small trendy tattoo or backpack through Europe to find yourself.
Well, and then the thing comes full circle when you post on Soch that you've overcome such an amazing obstacle, and aren't you an incredible person?
Great point.
Yeah.
You have to self-congratulate yourself.
It's all got to come all the way around. That's what she said.
So I continue. In an hour after posting this status, I'm going to delete my Facebook. Social media has caused me only paranoia and toxicity. That's also, as we learned from Gwyneth Paltrow, that is another nuclear bomb.
No toxics. I'm sure Goop has a kit that could help relieve those toxics.
I will be spending these next few months backpacking through South America. I said backpacking through Europe. So
South America's even more extreme.
I didn't get it 100% right. Yeah. Exploring my soul and finding and ridding myself of toxic energy that my friends and family have brought to me.
Oh boy.
When I'm ready, I may make a new Facebook and add friends and family that haven't fucking stabbed me in the back.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Is the F word capitalized?
No, but I made it harsh, like you hitting on someone.
Okay.
If you weren't invited, and then she goes on to talk about why she's posting this, and she says, if you weren't invited to my wedding, I don't care. You might as well hear the drama, and I'd rather you hear it from me. And I'm not asking for sympathy. I just want to tell my story.
Tell your story.
Yeah, she's entitled to sympathy.
Tell your truth, Kelly.
Before I begin this mini novel, I invite all of you, including the cunts who have ruined my marriage and life, to put yourself in my shoes. Of course, the ability for her to put herself in their shoes. No, impossibility. My husband and I managed to save up nearly $15,000 for a wedding. $15,000 is a sizable amount of dough. You can have a perfectly nice wedding for $15,000. Since our love was like a fairy tale, we wanted an extravagant blowout wedding, one where our son could be included. Track record of making great decisions. We started touring venues and we were torn between two. A local psychic told us to go with the more expensive option, and we thought, why the hell not? We just needed a little push. Our dream wedding amounted to only $60,000, all included with flights to Aruba. All we asked was for a little help from our family and friends to make it happen. I specifically, and this is capitalized, I mean specifically, capitalized again, asked for cash gifts. How could we have our wedding that we dreamed of without proper funding? We had sacrificed so much, going back to your point.
Yeah.
She's been through a lot.
Yeah.
She's conquered things. My maid of honor, who shall not be named, pledged $5,000 along with her planning services. We tearfully thanked her and accepted. So altruistic. My husband's family offered to contribute another $3,000, so our request for $1,500 from all the other guests was not fucking out of the ordinary. Like, we made it clear, if you couldn't contribute, you weren't invited to our exclusive wedding and this once-in-a-lifetime party.
She did not say that.
She asked each guest
You made up that last
to
sentence.
come to her wedding
And
they
bring
had
$1,500.
to pay $1,500. So we sent out our RSVPs, and only 8 people replied and sent us checks.
I'm amazed she got 8.
Me too. We were fucking livid. How was this supposed to happen? Without a little help from our friends. To make matters worse, my ex's family took back their offer suddenly. More people backed out, including the cunt maid of honor, my best friend since childhood, my second family. That part is in caps, including the word cunt.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I like how the maid of honor goes unnamed. I'm pretty sure people know.
I mean, seriously, people, what is $1,000? What is $1,500? Clearly not a lot. They did set up a GoFundMe. We also set up a GoFundMe. We only got $250. At this point, we're exhausted, tired. I yelled at my ex. I became unraveled. I realized my dream wedding was becoming a nightmare. My ex came into the room and offered to get us a Vegas wedding. I laughed in his face, but he was dead serious. He wanted one of those cheap, raggedy, filth whore weddings in Vegas. I mean, what the fuck? Was he out of his mind? Am I some hooch? Am I some hoochie piece of fucking trailer trash? Am I supposed to like the idea of getting married in the heart of shady gamblers and alcoholics? Suddenly, my body began to shake, and I entered a panic attack. Panic attack.
That was
We
stage
talked
3.
about it.
Yeah.
She's already in stage 3, Connor. This is getting tenuous. She might need to post on Soch again. He didn't apologize for his horrid suggestion. I then called my maid of honor and cried my eyes out. Instead of sympathy, I was told that I was asking for too much and I should stick to my budget. I mean, words cannot describe. How could someone that offered me thousands of fucking dollars deny me my promised money and then tell me to shift down my budget? She knows my fucking dream was a blowout wedding. I just wanted to be a Kardashian for a day. I called her a filthy fucking poor excuse for a friend.
No,
and
you
hung
didn't.
up.
Oh, God.
Favorite part? What does she end the letter with, Connor? No millennial can end something without.
XOXO.
There it is.
Wow. So what kind of response did that get?
Post number 1, I have no words. You're out of your effing mind. Post number 2, all caps. What happened to you? Who the hell expects that amount of money? This is like this entitlement generation, man. It's unreal.
Well, they had 15 grand. You can do a pretty good wedding for 15 grand.
Connor, the psychic told them
That they needed to go with the more expensive
they needed
venue.
to go with the more expensive. What
And
is
she-
$1,000? What is $1,500?
And she wanted to be a Kardashian for a day.
I love that it included. My dream wedding was only $60K, and that included flights to Aruba. so it's your dream wedding and your honeymoon.
Did she explain why she ended up breaking up with him? Was it just because he suggested Vegas?
Connor,
Or because he wouldn't bring $1,500?
it isn't about money, Connor.
Except
Can't
when
you-
it is.
Have you learned nothing?
No, I haven't.
It's about telling her story.
She needs to let us know her feelings.
Connor, their love was a fairy tale.
She's been through a lot. How many likes did she
wanted
get?
to be.
Does it say?
That's a good question. It doesn't say.
Ah.
Yeah, and the sad part is, so the person that posted this on Reddit screenshotted everything, and only screenshotted one page of comments. I really wish they had.
Have you tried to
screenshotted
find it
more.
on Facebook?
I have. Actually, had to work pretty hard to find this. All there is a bunch of articles about it, but finding the original document, I'm very glad I did.
Do any of the articles quote her? Did they actually get a hold of her?
I don't know that anyone's been able to get a hold of her because she. I don't know.
She's backpacking through South America.
Yeah, I don't know if you
She didn't bring a
listened, but
phone.
She's finding herself and ridding
Yeah.
herself of toxicity.
Give it a couple months. She'll come back non-toxic, and she'll be on Instagram with all of her triumphant pictures from Tenochtitlan.
But yeah, I say the winner on all this.
is the husband.
It's the husband.
Holy God, that guy dodged a bullet.
I feel bad for dudes these days. These are the women they're marrying. Because 2 days after I read this one, I read this one. Bride-to-be, thought to be from U.S., has issued a fuming rant to her friends on Facebook after they refused to cough up $3,000 per guest for her wedding.
What?
This is apparently it's the new thing. No, I can't buy you a soup ladle from Williams-Sonoma.
Yeah, this is not a thing.
Oh, it's a thing with the millennials.
No, you're getting salad tongs if you're lucky. And by the way, I'm taking advantage of that thing where you can get the gift up to a year later.
Of course.
On day 364, you're getting some freaking tongs.
Well, because odds of these weddings lasting, here's how I look at it.
Absolutely. I've been to weddings where I thought, I'm pretty sure the deadline for the gift will be after the divorce.
No, there needs to be like a checklist of, do I buy a gift? Okay, did they ask for cash from anyone to fund their wedding? Okay, probably not going to get them a gift. Did they mention Kardashian anywhere? Not getting them a gift. Did any of them get wedding ring tattooed fingers? That's not lasting. 6 months tops.
Do they openly hate each other? Are they only marrying because Graham is sick?
How could you not openly hate these people?
Because I've been to weddings like that.
So she writes, we invited our friends and family to our destination wedding in Thailand. Only 9 people out of 150 RSVP'd to pay $3,000.
In addition to the cost of the trip to Thailand.
Obvi. Okay, I get it. Paying $3,000 to share my special day is too much for some of you. I'd pay it for yours, but whatever. None of that is spelled correctly. So then we changed to for the wedding to be in Hawaii, so it's within everyone's reach. Only 7 of you RSVP'd, even though now it was down to $1,000.
They lost 2.
This is it, guys.
They lost 2 on the transfer. They made it closer and 2 people dropped out.
Those people are just like, I was in for $3,000, but you are just...
I thought this was going to be fancy, but now it's only $1,000.
This is it, guys. You have 3, again, the ultimatum. You have 3 days to respond to our evites, or we're deleting all of you off Facebook, and good luck keeping up with our lives then. Dun, dun, dun.
The greatest punishment is not getting to follow our pictures.
That really is. What I'm noticing the trend here is you start off with, I've sacrificed. I don't think you understand. This is important to me. Give me your money. It's not that much. I may not have it, but it's not that much. And then it's the ultimate nuclear bomb, which is I will either delete my own Facebook or I will delete you off my Facebook and no longer share my pictures of mocha frappuccinos, eggs, and airplane wings with you.
Did you hear that someone who was an early executive in Facebook came out recently in an interview and said basically that it's terrible for humanity?
Yes. Yeah, I remember that.
I think I'm starting to understand why.
Yeah, I'm just glad, Conor, that social media didn't exist when I was in high school, because the number of people that I would have dropped the ultimatum on that, look, you call me DBDB one more time and you are off my Instagram, mister.
Hey, guys. You're not going to follow me on Snapchat anymore.
You've seen your last picture of a mayonnaise sandwich. I'm going to tweet out pictures of all the bruises I have from being permanent butts up from recess.
God, I really wonder if we are just collectively developing this like narcissistic personality disorder. And
collectively, no.
And
I am an outlier narcissist, but the entire generation below us, 100% narcissist.
I mean, I am a narcissist. We've talked about this, like an actual literal narcissist in the sense that I find myself attractive. But this is next level.
Let me give you an example. And I haven't even seen this yet because my kids are younger. And so my wife and I went to a barbecue the other night at a friend's house. And they had a freshman in high school right now come babysit their child. Mm-hmm. I said, perfectly nice girl, great references, smart. And they said that she was Snapchatting the entire time that they were like showing her around the house, introducing her to their kids and all this stuff. Like, yeah. So she was like on the couch and they were having a conversation about bedtime and she's paying attention, listening. And then spontaneously, like a tick, she would just pause mid-sentence, pull up her phone, throw a duck face, selfie click it, look at it, and then put the phone down and keep talking. Like it was like something that happened mid-sentence, like someone sipping water or something. It is such a part of what they do. Man. Can you imagine going to what is essentially a job interview and you're going to be taking care of someone's children, which I get you don't understand how big a deal that is until you get older, but you're in front of someone else's parents and you're half listening to them because you're constantly snapping duck face selfies in their random living room. Who wants to see that? What do you do with that?
It's a scary direction we're heading in.
Well, I got to get some of the younger folk, if they were willing, to come on here, because there's this whole thing, I don't know if we've ever talked about it, is Snapchat streaks. Do you know what this is?
No, not really. I don't get it. It confuses me, and therefore I don't like it.
You talk about the guy that said that Facebook is ruining society and ruining our lives.
Yeah.
This 100%, I'm not a huge person in favor of making laws, but this is the kind of shit that it's not okay. So what they do is they put in the app, when you text someone, you can text someone and write messages within Snapchat, just like what we do with normal texting.
Right. But it's in Snapchat, so that makes it cooler.
Well, so your parents can't read it because you're hip. And if you do not snap convo your other person every single day, it deletes the entire history of any relationship you've had with that person. It is the ultimate negative stimulus.
Yeah.
It is like getting in your car and having the seatbelt button go bing, bing, bing until you plug in the seatbelt.
You know, in kids' defense, there are entire industries dedicated to trying to make them addicted to things.
There was a guy who left Google, and he said, you have to understand that there are 3 or 4 companies in Silicon Valley who have the best and brightest minds on this earth, whose sole job is figure out how to keep a 13-year-old's eyeballs on this phone all day.
Every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
And they did it. And so what happens is, what these kids do, it's so mind-blowing. I talked to one of my nephews or nieces, and I was like, do you have streaks? She says, yeah. I was like, what's your longest streak? She goes, 2 years.
Oh, my God.
2 years. And I was like, what do you do if you're sick one day? What do you do if you lose your phone? Like, she's like, I've lost my phone, and I've had my friend log in with my user account on their phone.
Oh, my God.
To snap my list of 10 friends that I had streaks going with, so I didn't lose my streaks.
I mean, you realize that's training kids to have addictive personalities.
It's a pigeon pecking a button for an M&M.
Yeah. You know what we had as kids was the arcades. Remember the arcades inside the casino?
Yeah.
Where it's a casino for kids?
Yes.
And you win the little tokens and you get the stupid Chinese finger trap prizes?
Yes.
I mean, those are pretty unethical if you think about it. That's what we had. These kids have you seen the new flavors of tobacco? The vape pens? It's unreal. They are actually copying real candy. So it'll be like Sour Patch tobacco vape. The packaging looks the same. It's crazy. So San Francisco actually just banned flavored tobacco for this reason. And then some tobacco company spent millions of dollars trying to get it overturned, and it ended up getting upheld. But in the course of that campaign, there were all these pictures and all this media about what these different flavors are. And it is so clearly targeted to getting preteens hooked on tobacco.
You're going to have some sort of legislation going forward, and you should actually... I mean, look, being in San Francisco, which is kind of Silicon Valley-ish, maybe London should lead the nation on this, because that is not okay. I don't think parents know that kind of stuff goes on. The fact that when they go on vacation with these snap streaks, they have to either leave their phone with someone if they're not going to be in... If they go camping and they're out of cell reception, they have to have another friend keep their streaks going.
Yeah.
It's not okay.
No.
If somebody did that to my daughter, I'd want to go to that company and punch that engineer right in his nose. Like, I'm not kidding.
They are manipulating children for profit. And that's been going on for years. I mean, I remember when I was a little kid and they had the 1-900 numbers and you could call and talk to David Hasselhoff's car, Kit. And all I wanted was to call and talk to Kit.
Why didn't I know about that?
I don't know, but my mom wouldn't let me. And they would show the ads on children's cartoons, so it was clearly directed at me. Or like, what's the other one? What's the vacation company? They could go to Mexico. Club Med. Club Med. So Club Med used to advertise to kids on kids shows.
I wanted to go to that place so bad.
I wanted to go so bad. I still remember the song.
Oh, my God.
You did it. You made it. Can't believe you ate it. We're on a club. So, I mean, this has been going on forever. That come and McDonald's, the freaking Happy Meal and the toys. Like when I was a little kid, that was magic to me. I don't know what secret they unlocked, but they know how to get kids hooked. And we're talking little. Like I was 5-6 years old when I wanted to talk to Kit.
Do you remember we had Sal DiStefano on the show a while back? He said a comment that stuck with me. He said, our generation growing up was a generation that was having obesity problems because we didn't understand the dangers of processed foods. You know, the high sugar, the high processed carbs, all this stuff. And now parents are putting limits on it because they realize, you know, you can't eat goldfish 24/7 and be healthy. And he said that this generation that are growing up right now, they are the generation that are the guinea pigs for how toxic, to use language like that, how toxic technology will be.
That is a really good point. It's so new. This technology is so new that nobody is really cognizant of the downsides. And yeah, this generation is just having this unbelievably manipulative media foisted upon them every single day.
We're in danger of sympathizing with the younger generation, Connor.
Well, I do that all the time because I'm a sympath. I'm a people person. You're an old crotchety man.
Well, as we learned from one of our reviews, the younger, smarter, funnier guy attempted to bring the older moron back into line. Anyway,
yeah. But
no, it's
in
tough.
true millennial fashion, we just made the topic about ourselves,
Basically.
which is really what you need to do.
You know, and you talk about the new iPhones that just came out, and I actually put it on my Facebook. I put it on my social. That the best thing about the new, and for all the parents, any parents out there that listen, there's a new thing called screen time, and a lot of kids have iPads, and you lose track. It's easy as a parent because, you know, you want to take a shower, you want to use the bathroom, you need to, you know, clean your car, whatever. You plop the kid in front of an iPad because it gives you a few minutes. Well, now the iPads have screen time. So what happens is you set a timer, like my kids, I set a timer for an hour a day. So my kids can use an iPad an hour a day and it auto shuts off. Like literally the other day, Ike walked right in here and he goes, "Daddy?" Yeah, he goes, "Oh, the iPad icons are black." And I was like, yes, win one for Dad. I was like, honey, your iPad said that you were watching too much iPad and it turned itself off. And he's like, oh. So see how I put it third person? So it wasn't Daddy. Daddy didn't set the timer. The iPad set. So now he's mad. Stupid iPad. And so I don't get any wrath.
Maybe he'll break it.
No, but it's really good. The fact that this didn't exist until iOS 12. This is the 12th iteration of iOS.
Well, I feel like they should have unlimited time for things like Mavis Beacon teaches typing and like how to farm potatoes.
Yeah, you can do that.
Because those are valuable skills for kids. But, you know, maybe only 10 minutes of the Jake Paul.
How about no minutes of the Jake Paul?
Jake Joseph Paul, and I was a savage from day one.
In a future episode, I'm going to start doing some research because there's a whole new plethora of people I need to hate on YouTube. They're called beauty YouTubers. These are young people that teach kids how to do makeup. And apparently there's a whole soap opera world out there. There's a bunch of racists, and they're all yelling at each other. And the one guy is like trans, and he's like the king of the makeup people on the YouTubers, and he makes like $100 million a year, he claims. But he's super racist, which is awkward for a trans person because you'd think that they would be kind of into the, hey, I know what it feels like to be marginalized thing.
You would think.
Apparently not. So I'm going to do some research on that, and I'm going to bring some gems.
For our next episode of John and Conor ramble about stuff on the internet.
Hey, Connor, hats off to me. We said when this episode started without a guest that we were just going to complain and be angry the whole time, but only did a little bit of that.
These
really,
are my favorite episodes, mostly just because I like watching you get all worked up.
I get so worked up, and it's getting worse as I get older.
Yes.
I noticed, like, I look at here's how I view my parents. I look at my father as what I will be down the road. And what I frequently say to people is I have done remarkably well given the personality genetics bestowed on me from my father.
But that veneer is starting to wane.
It is.
And the other thing that's funny is you and I are about the same age, but I feel like you're aging in, I don't know, cat years. It's not quite dog years. Maybe it's because you have kids, but you are like 38 going on 70.
Yeah, kids are like having your car used as a taxi. It's like you have like a nice Toyota Prius is an oxymoron, but it's like you've got a Toyota Prius that is like a daily driver, and then you've got it used as a taxi cab, and the taxi cab one gets flogged.
Yeah.
That's what having children
Mine's
is
the one that grandma owns that's in the garage and has like 2,000 miles on it. That's my Prius.
Speaking of...
I can't even have a cat. I don't have that level of responsibility.
Anyway, speaking of cars,
yes,
one of the reasons that you are on time today, which means you're an hour late, is because we both have a fondness for cars. We don't talk about it much on the show, but you have what I consider to be a very cool car, and you're kind of doing things to it right now. What car is that?
I have a couple projects going on. I'm going through a Subaru phase, and by phase I mean it started 15 years ago. But I bought a 98 Subaru Outback, so kind of the original.
There were no signs you were gay from an early age.
Well, technically those are lesbians.
Okay.
Yeah, there's actually it's a Planet Money episode about
the lesbaroo, as they used to call it.
Yeah, no, it was a real thing. It was actually a marketing strategy. They did it for years. But I bought a 98 Subaru Outback. Now, an Outback it's a wagon, right? It's a 4-door wagon. I am going to cut the roof off and turn it into a replica Subaru Brat. And for those who don't know, the Brat came out in the 70s.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. It was kind of like an El Camino, but smaller and Japanese. So it was a car truck. But because there was a 24% tariff on Japanese trucks or imported trucks at the time, they slapped a couple plastic seats in the bed of the thing.
Super safe.
Facing backwards, super safe, and called it a car and got away with it.
Now, did they have a roll bar going above the seats, or were the heads of the passengers in the bed meant to be the rollover protection for the driver?
There was an optional roll bar if you valued your head.
If the driver was putting his wife in the bed, you went without the optional roll bar, or
Sure.
mother-in-law.
But I have one, and it bolts into the sheet metal, which is just like one layer thick of sheet metal. So I'm pretty sure if you rolled it, the roll bar would just pop through the bottom of the bed.
I'm pretty sure the NTSB is fine with just bolting seats for accidents into sheet metal.
It's pretty amazing what companies got away with not that long ago. I mean, they sold these things into the 80s, right around the time that the 3-wheeled ATVs came out. Which I don't know if you've ever ridden one of those, but they were on the market for like 2 years. And then finally the government was just like, dude, can you guys stop?
Everyone died on those things.
Everyone died.
No, it's funny because you look at the transition. Like when I was a kid, when we would go on long drives up to, from where we are in San Francisco, we'd like go to Tahoe for summery stuff. And I remember my favorite thing as a kid is we'd have a wagon and we would make a bed in the back and we would like put a sleeping bag and a pillow and we would lay back there, my sister and I, and just like have so much fun. Your parents would be jailed now for that.
Yeah.
Now it's not only must you have a child seat, but you have to have a child seat and a helmet till they're like 12.
Yeah.
My daughter's 6. She's like 50 pounds, almost as tall as my wife, but she has to be in a 5-point harness safety seat at all times. It's insane.
I was in my buddy's car the other day and he had this giant ass car seat in the back and I was like, dude, isn't your daughter 10?
Yeah, no, they do.
That's how it goes now.
I have friends that should still be in car seats based on size.
Yeah.
But getting back to it, the Brat is one of those awesome cars because it's ugly cool. It's like every douchebag, and look, the old school Mustangs are actually very cool cars, but every guy that is into cars that has no taste is like, oh, I'm going to get an old Mustang and fix it up. And it's like, dude, you're a cliche wrapped in a joke about yourself.
Yes.
It's like, how about you do something a little bit outside the box?
Yeah.
And that is a Subaru Brat, which you should do an Ivan Iron Man Stewart paint job on the outside of because he is the best.
So, yeah. Thank you for dinging yourself. So, what I didn't say is I actually have 2 Subaru Brat projects going on simultaneously. So, I'm making a replica Brat out of a 98 Subaru. At the same time, I'm taking my original 76 Subaru Brat and dropping it onto the chassis of a Ford Ranger. So, it's going to be a 4-liter V6 Ford Ranger powertrain and chassis with like a 200-pound Brat body on top of it. So the thing is going to haul ass.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we have to cut almost 3 feet of length out of the Ranger chassis to get it to fit.
Newsflash, that's not exactly like trimming down a 2x4.
Oh no, I'm hiring someone who actually knows what they're doing.
Okay, good. You got brake lines, electrical.
No, I wasn't gonna
drive shaft. Those drive shafts turn at 1 or 2 RPMs.
Yeah, I was actually just gonna pull out the skill saw and just make some cuts. No, I'm getting someone who kind of knows stuff because I don't. But yeah, so hopefully I'll have these done right around the same time. The replica one is easier because all I really need to do is cut the roof off, weld some stuff in place so the thing doesn't taco. You know that like a unibody car, most cars are unibody, meaning they don't have a frame underneath that they sit on.
I prefer the term monocoque.
Monocoque, yeah. I'm more of a multi-coque kind of guy, but okay.
Hey-o!
Gay stuff.
A unibody car, the structure is dependent upon the roof, right? So if you cut the roof off, the car will actually taco. It will bend in on itself. So once I cut the roof, I have to put a cage in that will maintain the structure of it. But That's going to be a fun project.
You have a long history with cars that, shall we say, are not exactly on the top of the Rob Report. What's that fancy magazine? What's the Rich People magazine?
I think
Luxury Yachter.
No, I think it is Rob Report. Let me help you there. Yeah, I shop in the damaged goods aisle. I have eclectic taste in cars. I like things
eclectic. That's like saying your ugly girlfriend is interesting looking.
Right, she's super nice.
She's unique.
Yeah.
Exotic. Exotic is what you call every slightly foreign heavyset gal.
I like things that are unique. So yeah, a Mustang that does nothing for me.
You don't want to look like a middle management at a strip club?
I mean, I was thinking about getting an Ed Hardy shirt and a 65 fastback. Yeah. I don't even think they made the fastback in 65. Damn it. But were you going to want me? He was going to want me, and then he decided against it. Whew. Oh, jeez. I like things that are unusual, and there are few things as unusual as a Japanese El Camino with death seats in the back.
It does make the Brat sound very cool to say it has death seats.
Yeah, also...
It's kind of like the Russian roulette of passenger cars.
Yeah, bear in mind that you're going to be the one riding back there.
Do you get weirded out when you see dogs in the back of pickups now? Because I see that once in a while now, and I'm kind of like, ooh, that's not safe for the dog.
They tie him down, don't they?
But isn't that worse? Because now you're like, that game with the paddle and the ball and a string, and you whack it all around?
Yes.
If that truck gets into an accident and starts tumbling, the dog being on a leash is worse. You want that dog to just be thrown away from the vehicle.
Dog's probably going to die either way.
That's a good point.
Also, if your dog is inside your car and you get in an accident, it's going to be an issue too.
That's a good point.
It pretty much becomes a projectile that's going to take you out. You got to buckle your dog in.
My favorite is when you see the people that have it looks like grandma's mantle in the back of their Honda. It's got like bobbleheads and a box of tissue.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, you do realize that those are projectiles towards your head.
Those are coming right at you.
You hit anything above 5 miles an hour, and that Bob Hope bobblehead is gonna knock you the F out.
Yeah.
Okay, so we haven't finished with the Brat. So you're cutting it all up, you're putting it on the Ranger chassis, and you're having this done professionally?
That one, yeah. So the replica I'm going to do myself. The original one...
The replica sounds a little douchey. I kind of like the 74.
I think it's going to be a pretty sweet duo to have both of them.
You should call it a Repla Rat.
That's not bad, actually. Here's a little bit of trivia. BRAT is actually an acronym that stands for Bi-Drive Recreational All-Terrain Transport.
Wow.
Yeah.
Never has something so complex sounded so douchey.
Super douchey, yeah.
As we heard last week from Maz Jabrani on the show, the country of Chad. They are a Muslim country, but for marketing reasons, they went with Chad.
In Australia, they called it the Brumby, which is
awesome.
That's a kind of awesome name.
Yeah, Australians are pretty good at naming stuff. They got a lot of personality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there you have it. We solved the future of humanity. We've got the body farm, Blood Boy, how to keep the youth from using the soch too much.
No soch.
We're solving problems, Connor. It's a win.
I feel like you've become a better person in the last hour. You're sympathizing with the people. You've gotten rid of your toxins. You might go on a backpacking trip.
Connor, I wanted to make the show more positive. I felt like it was a little bit too much grumpy old man, and we've done it. We've done it.
Kudos to us.
Thanks, everybody. That's our show of ranting and raving. We'll be back next week.